Welcome to this podcast, a space to inspire you to let go of what is no longer serving you and let's go into action. I am Liliana, your host, and I am a thanatologist, that is death, loss, and bereavement studies, and a bioenergy healing practitioner. I support women, perhaps like you, to recognize and heal silent losses generated by conflicted family relationships so that you can integrate that relationship into your reality and align emotionally and energetically with your true self, your personal power, your voice, your intuition, and find joy, abundance, and a life of purpose. So I hope you get inspired by these interviews. Subscribe so you can join me in the next episodes, and let's move to the conversation. Hi everyone, welcome to this podcast, and today we're having as a guest Sarah Hyams. I'm very happy to have her because her subject is very interesting. It's really something that could practically better your quality of life. So stay, and Sarah, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, good to see you and sending love across the ocean
Yes, yes,
from
thank
Victoria to Vancouver.
yes, we are very close yet a bit far.
Yeah.
So, I bet our listeners now are a bit curious about what is it that you do. So please share it with us.
I am a somatic life coach, and my special interest is working with women to create a better connection and relationship with their pelvic floors, and even more specifically, their womb spaces and their whole female reproductive organs. Yeah.
That is very needed, because, for example, in my work with my clients, I try to help them to heal the losses that they have, and we go basically through energy centers to clear the energy that is stuck in all of the centers. And what you're talking is first and second center, and we have so many
Mhm.
emotions stuck in there, and we're not grounded, and so we cannot ascend into our spiritual journey where we're not grounded. And what you're telling me is that you're literally ground us in our physical body. So please tell us a little bit about that.
And I agree with you. I haven't named what I do first and second chakra reset, but it could be if you're into chakra systems, then certainly the work that we explore really becomes about a deep relationship with the body and sensing and attuning as well as working and moving and that kind of thing. So, and the byproduct is to feel much more grounded, much more connected to yourself and your body, and to really develop that kind of listening that then has this ripple effects up the chakra systems if you're into chakras, but it has the ripple effects on how you move through the world. So yeah, if there was a message I really want to share with women is that we feel so much pressure around what we're supposed to be doing or not doing with our bodies. And it can be so overwhelming. And I know for most women, a lot of this self-betterment can sometimes be inspiring and beautiful, but sometimes can feel almost punishing, and it can feel like this horrible to-do list. And I've certainly experienced that pelvic floor work as, women want, when we give birth or women of a certain age, we know we should be doing something. And yet I find many, many women don't do very consistent work. And the repercussions can be quite serious. And we even know that, but still there's something missing. And the piece I would say is missing is this relationship. It's not just another set of muscles, or it's not just a clinical thing that we're having to work through.
That is very interesting what you say, because yes, a lot of us have known about this, like Hegel's exercises, right? Where it's like, okay, you have to do them and consistently so that you have a good pelvic health. And
Mhm.
yet we forget, we don't know what to do, we get busy, and we overlook it. However, There's probably an undercurrent of, it's not that we want to procrastinate or that we're very busy. It's just that we have this disconnection with our body, right?
Yeah.
Is that you think what that's really part of the issue why we don't do them? Because we're not connecting. We rather think have our attention somewhere else, just not to connect with that part of our body that needs attention in the physical, but in the emotional, mental, and energy body of that area.
Hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if I know all of the answers, but it's easy to imagine what some of those answers could be. Why is it that we are disconnected from our waist down, and that can open up so many questions around
Yes.
shame, around a culture that gives much more priority to the cerebral area, the headiness, and not as much to just rooted body physicality.
Mhm.
So that's one thing. And then, we can look at how women tend to operate in general, where we can be more neglectful of certain parts of our bodies as well. And the thing about the pelvic floor is it's hidden. So we might obsess with, having a flat abs and a flat belly and shapely legs. And we can see how workouts might affect those areas. But the pelvic floor, just like any of the other areas of the body, also needs its movement and workouts, but when it doesn't have the aesthetic outer visual thing. So again, that's another reason, I think.
Yeah, I have never thought of that, but actually making the pelvic floor stronger is literally an inner work. It's inner work in many senses, many levels, however you want to take it. It's
Yeah.
inner work that you really have to do and start it in the physical. So please tell our myself and the audience a good piece of advice, that a golden nugget that we
Mhm.
can start practicing, so to connect to our bodies and get stronger in that area.
Look, if I was just to give anyone any advice just for step one, it would be this invitation to befriend and create a relationship with this part of our bodies. And I'm not saying this lightly. This can be quite a big step. Your pelvic floor below the waist could feel like a part of you that you've ignored or numbed out for whatever reason. So even just making that friendship or befriending is the first step. And the way I like to do it most is through the breath, because we all breathe, and there's ways that we can breathe and bring that connection all the way to the pelvic floor. Do we have a moment for a little practice to
Oh,
do
well,
that?
by all means.
Just a very quick practice that we can do any time in the day. No one will know what you're doing. So you can do it while you're in the shopping line or driving your car or in a high impact meeting. And you can just begin to bring your breath. And I like to graduate it down. So just breathing first in the upper chest and just let the chest rise and fall. While you're listening to this, you might want to close your eyes, but if you're driving, then don't. And then another breath. And this is almost like a courtship with your pelvic floor. So you're kind of courting it. You're starting up. You're not bouncing right down there. And then we're going to go a little further down into the diaphragm area. We can hold a lot of tension here too. And so just breathing into the diaphragm. So you're bringing on the personal power if you're into the chakra system. So waking up, this like I'm beginning to get more empowered, and then you're breathing into your belly, which again we've been sort of indoctrinated to try and keep them tight and flat, and just let the belly bulge. Woo! Let the belly bulge. And then from here in your mind's eye, imagine your breath coming all the way down. And if you're into the chakras, to your root chakra. And if you want a physical image, think of the perineum, that muscle between the anus and the vagina. Bring the breath all the way down here. And then try that one more time. And then on the inhale, just imagine that whole pelvic floor area is just blossoming open on the inhale. And then on the exhale, let it go. Now, for the sake of time, I won't keep going, but you can keep doing that, breathing into the perineum. On the inhale, let it blossom. On the exhale, land even more. And then the final step is tuning into this part of your body and just ask it, what would you like right now? Or hello, how are you today? Or you're just getting to know it. And I think beginning here and then doing all the things that you know you could do for your pelvic floor, including Kegels, including yoga, including all of those next steps come afterwards. That's what I would say. It starts with relationship.
Okay, that is very good advice. And I love that you gave us a practical exercise because that's
Yeah.
the first step. And I'm always good into first steps. And so when we do this breathing, I loved it that it's by layers. So first the chest, and then the consciousness to your torso and with your pelvic floor. And suddenly you start realizing that you have tension everywhere, right?
Mhm.
Down to your pelvic floor, because sometimes we are told that our pelvic floor is lax, but sometimes it's tense. And
Mm-hmm.
then people have, well, incontinence or accidents or whatever. But we do start doing these exercises, it's that's why I was saying it can literally better the quality of your life, because as we age, well, we don't want to end up as seniors in diapers, right? That's like a pandemic epidemic of diaper wear. So even as in, not only the physical but in the mental and emotional, where your tension is going to go, well,
Mm-hmm.
it's a win-win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think when a lot of us think of pelvic floor, we sort of get giggly and go, ha ha, I don't want to end up in diapers, giggle, giggle, giggle. And, we don't. Most of us probably don't want to. And then we get other stuff like, oh, it's going to improve your sex life. And yeah, all these orgasms you can have. And there's so much out there. And it's like, it's that, and that. And it's so many other things too. And again, it's about this relationship with the part of you that is so deep and so inner and so grounding. So, yes, the ripple effects will be, hopefully, you won't be in diapers. The ripple effects will be that your sex life could improve and you'll have more sensation. And the biggest thing is you have this relationship with yourself and with your body. That's the biggest
Yeah,
piece. Yeah.
definitely. And as you start having this relationship, then you start recuperating your flow, your sensuality, your creativity, your abundance, and then your personal power. And it's that ripple effects comes literally from the ground up. So it's fantastic work that I believe everybody should go into it and take it seriously. It's not a wish like, oh yeah, tomorrow I'll start, or maybe this afternoon. No, whenever you think of it, literally start breathing, and that is the start of the program. So I think this is all fantastic. And
Good.
now, before I
Yeah.
let you go, because
Yeah.
this is good stuff, can
Hmm.
you give our audience a little piece of advice for
Hmm.
somebody that her higher call is to have a practice of any kind, and or help others regardless, right? So what has helped you in your journey as a coach? Like, what do you have to let go of so that you could become the coach that you're today? And yeah, what helped you?
It's such a good question. And I think what I really came to the call today is for the coaches or for the people who have this deep, deep calling, and it could be even a calling that's not theirs, that comes from something bigger than them, that they're really called to do. And what I find, and this is me included, is this calling comes from somewhere very deep within, and it's about service. It's about, for me, it's about inspiration. It's about enlivening people. So, whatever your version of that, what your gift is to bring to other people, that is the piece that we have to keep. tapping into and remembering, especially when it comes to business. And so for me, when I became a coach, I just thought, okay, I'm a coach now. I'm ready. And then it was like, okay, the business side. And I could see that the business side could be the part that I could get so distracted by the business side and, oh, I've got to get clients, that I would forget my real reason for being there. So it's always remembering that root, going back to the rootedness, that deep, deep, deep rooted feeling of why, your big why. And then that paired with the skills that you learn to build your business makes for something that you can really love and feel so with so much integrity with. Whereas if you
Mm-hmm.
see your business as something outside of what you do and you're trying to do these latest things and oh my God, I can't do all the tech and da 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 da, where's your root? You've lost your root. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's just keep connecting, do the breathing exercise, do whatever thing gets you really aligned and rooted and keep coming back to that. So that's what I would
We
say.
keep coming back to the root. And as you mentioned, the why is your fuel. That's why is why you're doing all this crazy work that you have to do what you are called to do. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's a big why. That's a very important one. Well, it's been very good talking to you. I will put in the description your social media so that people can know where to find you.
Yeah, great.
And but before we go, anything else you want to share with us?
Well, I guess just the final thing is for those of you, my program is called Yoni Soma, so it's a somatic program for the pelvic floor. And I use, some of us know this word yoni, but if you don't, um, it's a Sanskrit word that describes, I like it because it describes all the female anatomy. We use so many
Hmm.
millions of different words, it gets super confusing.
Yes.
And yoni encapsulates everything. So I like it for that. And I also like it because what it means in Sanskrit, and it means sacred gateway.
Oh wow, that hold it in there because
Mhm.
seeing your feminine parts as a sacred gateway gives a whole new meaning to this. Even for sexual encounters, who am I going to let in into this sacred gateway, right? So
Mhm.
okay, sorry for the interruption. It's just
Yeah,
like it's brilliant.
yeah. So I guess I'm leaving you with that. And then the last piece around this relationship is if I was to try on the idea of this being a sacred gateway, what would my kind of behavior be moving forward?
Mhm.
How will I treat this sacred part of my body? So, yeah.
Wow, wow, I'm wowed because even, I mean, we stress the importance of doing these exercises for every benefit that you're going to have. But even now, calling it the sacred gateway, that tells me that any work I do on that is bringing light and sacredness into that area that is such a core of my being as a woman. So that is yet another incentive to honor this muscle and this area that we have neglected for so long. And the minimum we can do is bring a bit of oxygen and so that we can start healing it. And as we start healing it in the physical, we know that's the first step to healing in the emotional and all the other bodies. So really, I really appreciate what you told us today. I think it was very valuable.
Mhm.
And I'm always very happy to see you. And this has been fantastic. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Thanks, Liliana.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Let Go and Let's Go. I hope we inspire you into moving 1 degree closer towards your vision because you deserve to live an inspired life. If you resonated with anything we said or you'd like to learn more about how I can support you into integrating and healing your emotional relationships and align to your higher call, please reach out info@lilianachamberlain.com or I'll leave a link in the description. And remember to subscribe so you can join me in the next episodes. Meanwhile, remember, keep shining because your light is only meant to get brighter.